Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of Snap on This, a Marvel Snap podcast. I'm your host, LaurenWhatevs, here today with my favorite co-hosts. First up, it's Ree. I think I'm going to rename this question because we always say week in Snap, and it's often not about Snap. So, how was your week? And keep it snappy.
But that's not like it's week in Snap. Okay.
We can't change the name of this section.
I kind of take a little bit of joy in the misnomer of it, like the week in and around Snap, the week of Snap and periphery.
Yeah, the secret homework that's not secretive at all.
That's what I was gonna say. When is secret homework ever secret?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
since when do we do what it says on the tin?
We can't change the rules
on this way.
Specifically, tell us, how was your week in Snap? And keep it snappy.
Okay. Well, I was really excited to talk about Thunderbolts, and Lauren won't let me because it's going to be spoilers. And it's only been out for 2 weeks, and we get that it's like, you don't want to have to like skip ahead right at the beginning of the podcast, so we will save that like responsible adults for the end of the show for a Thunderbolts discussion. I will, spoiler free now, say that when I went to go see it, they were doing a new thing. Have you seen this where they have like the screens that extend to the sides?
I saw Thor that way.
Yeah. It's like a wraparound. Yeah. And I was really just thinking, I'm like, it was fine. It was like, noticeable in one scene where you're like, oh, I'm getting information. It's outside of the normal, frame of reference. But like, for the most part, you just didn't really, it just kind of like phased out and it didn't feel extra cool or VR or anything. And I'm like, oh, they're just really trying anything to get like people into theaters.
Throwing stinky sprays at you or anything, were they?
You cut out for me a second there.
Oh, they're not like throwing any stinky sprays or like moistures or anything at you, are they? This is just like IMAX Light that you're describing.
Yeah, it's like they have extra like cameras, and for something they filmed somewhere, and it's like it's extended. There's extra screens extended out like along the sides, so it's more
extremely widescreen,
a little extra panoramic.
And it's just not enough. I think they're like just like trying different like what's the next thing? Because it's like not 3D, is it? Right?
No,
I didn't go see this in 3D. 3D didn't make it happen. So now they're just like, will this be the thing that gets people to leave the comfort of their home? I'm like, what was the last thing that changed how I saw movies? Was assigned seating that you could like get ahead of time. Plus the recliner chairs, they give you way more space from the person next to you. I want to say that was when I did that the first time. I'm like, always this from now on, never again, never
the
again.
The luxury seating is worth it.
Yeah. So and it's like nothing since then has been it. Like 3D's in it, so it's like theaters are really struggling against like getting people to leave the comfort of their couch with all their things and the lack of strangers and all that stuff. So we will have the rest of my week in Snap later, and Lauren's back in time, so I will pass it back to her.
Whew. Yeah, dog demanded to be let in. Ben, how was your week in Snap? And keep it snappy.
My week in Snap, endeavoring to keep it snappy as I sometimes do, that's for sure. Well, I did play some Snap. Didn't have time to play a whole ton of Snap. It was a busy week for me with, life stuff. But what Snap I did play, I believe when last we checked in, I had almost done the infinite climb, and, I think I was at like 93 or something, and now I'm at 97. So really putting in, that much time. But it seems to be going well.
Slow and steady is good enough.
Yeah, I haven't been, I think the win and cube rates have been good. I just haven't logged a bajillion games, that's all. But what I've been playing is the same surfer deck I was doing with Surge and Esme Cuckoo, except here's the thing. I almost never make concessions to like what's going on in the meta and stuff. And this is extra weird because Eagle Irid or I don't know, bat-eared listeners of the podcast, I don't know. People who listen closely may have noticed that I barely ever think about Thanos, like, at all. Never mention the Mad Titan when we're doing card previews, nothing. I am aware of the guy and the stones and the deck, and like I must understand it because I seem to not lose to it like so much that I get frustrated or anything. So like I clearly like I do think about it somewhere in my brain, just like nowhere near the surface. I don't think about Thanos. But yo, I have noticed he's made the front page of my brain. There's a lot of Thanos going on, huh? Yeah.
So much.
I feel really bad for Esme Cuckoo because I didn't play a bunch with her, and I've already rotated her out of the deck in favor of Killmonger, and I cut, I believe it was Gwenpool for Nova. So yes, I made a concession to the meta around me, which I almost never do. Almost never. But just this once, I did it, and, you know, it's good. Yeah. I see why people do it. I get the appeal. I just I prefer to be an immovable object most of the time.
And it's better to do the more polarized the meta is, and right now it's pretty polarized. There really is a lot of Thanos out there.
I'm just like I can't not, and you know, it's fine. I just have to remember to come back to Esme later because like she deserves. I need to tinker with her some more and try different things and stuff. It's not fair to give her up without, you know, giving her a fair shake, and I really like to give all the tools you know, the old college try. But yo, Snap adjacent stuff. I played some Magic the Gathering for the first time in a very, very long time. I was traveling and stuff, and I was back in my hometown, and I saw some old friends, and we played some Lord of the Rings Commander. I was playing the Hobbits, and they've got Ents up in the mix, so tree folk and halflings and such, and they make a lot of food. I had access to a lot more life gain than the other Lord of the Rings Commander decks. So, you know, that's helpful for longevity in Commander and stuff. I was surprised at how, you know, essentially I remember how most of the things work and all that. I still knew the rules better than my friends who have certainly played more recently than I did. But, you know, it was just a great time. I see physical card games are fun. It's very cool. But yo, digital card games, here's all you need to know about the Bazaar. They've got the Cornballer from Arrested Development now. The Cornballer is in the Bazaar. I'm very excited. I've got to get to the end of this season's progression track so that I can unlock the new Pygmalion expansion, because I just want to be burning everybody with hot grease. Oh my goodness.
Do lawsuits exist in the Bazaar? I haven't played it.
It's called the Rice Baller in the Bazaar, but it's very clearly the Cornballer. It's like there's no ambiguity.
That's lovely.
So they're back in my good books for the moment, at least, because that shit, yeah, that delights me. That's the stuff I do like. I also saw Thunderbolts, and I will also have thoughts about it. And I think that might be it as far as snacking, weeking, brevity. Was it achieved? Who can say?
Not
Lauren.
bad is my rating.
If we change the name, let's change it to Week and Snack.
How was your week and snack?
Oh, I do have some thoughts about some snacks that I ate.
I do too.
Got some good stuff at Aldi. Some cheese balls with avocado oil, made by a brand that I'd also seen at Walgreens recently, but they had more options. I believe these were Toy Story branded. I don't know if there's a recent Toy Story installment out that these would have been like a tie-in with. I mean, I could produce.
Vastly expired.
No, I'll produce the bag when we go on break. We'll see that maybe this is the first sponsored product. I don't know.
Snack show and tell.
Maybe the first one's free, but after this, gosh dang it, if Aldi wants me, I mean, I have a lot of nice things to say about things I get at Aldi, but I'm not going to say them for free. I don't know.
We went on an impromptu mall date this week and hit up this new store that had, you know, cute Asian things like makeup and stationery and treats. Normally I would say Japanese Oreos, but I think they were Chinese because I don't see any hiragana or katakana on the packaging. But there's raspberry and blueberry, and peach and grape are the flavors that I got. They were pretty good.
Wait, what is the cookies made out of, though?
They're
Is
Oreos.
that type of chocolate?
Yeah, it's chocolate.
Or are they like vanilla Oreo cookies?
Nope, they were regular old Oreos.
I feel very opinionated about my fruits with chocolate. Which of those?
I love fruit with
fine.
chocolate. I was just having chocolate-covered bananas earlier today. Not later today, that'd be weird. Anyway, I saw Thunderbolts too. I also, the next day, saw Wicked live. That's the first time I've ever done that. It was like the 6th for my fiance. She loves Wicked. That was very fun. That was a Christmas gift from her grandparents.
I've also seen Wicked.
Oh,
I've not. I've read the book.
I loved it. I was very familiar with the music, but not familiar with everything that happens between the music, especially in Act 2, which hasn't been covered in public movie release yet. So it was very fun. And then Mother's Day. Mother's Day was great. There's a lot more mothers than fathers in mine and Jess's family, so this is a bigger celebration. Got together, had breakfasts, and arranged flowers and all kinds of fun things. Anyway, I don't want to be too much of a downer, but I was also very bored with Snap lately, and I haven't been deck building, and it's kind of a chicken or egg question for me. Like, am I not deck building because I'm bored with Snap, or am I bored with Snap because I'm not deck building? I honestly think it's both. It's just like snowballing, and I need something to spark something, but like I don't know if it's the meta, which Ben has already touched on, and I feel for any of you who are still climbing in this hellish meta that isn't going to change for 2 more weeks because they took one OTA off because of their Second Dinner's summer break, or their company get together or whatever. They do that twice a year, I think. Anyway, nothing has been inspiring me for clip hunting, and normally that's how I get through these times when I'm like not really loving playing the game, but like I still want to do something fun, and I have to get my missions done anyway. Might as well try to grind towards some silly, amazing clip. But nothing has inspired me. And then I saw a silly, amazing clip, and it was something that I wish I had thought of, but I don't think of all the good clips. Of course not. This one was on Reddit, and they played Makari, and they made Makari huge, like 14 power, and then they put a Hulkbuster on Makari, so she was the last card played. And then on the last turn of the game, they dropped Frigga and Moon Girl, and had a hand. Frigga was on Wong, and they had a handful of Makaris with 14 power, and they all come down for free because it's Makari. I'm like, oh my gosh,
clever.
Genius! Who needs an extra turn or extra energy? Just drop all the giant Makaris at the end of the game. It was beautiful. Happened to work on Nexus, which is even better, but that's just
I love that.
icing on the cake. So I might try my own version of that. But anyway, I'm just I like being positive about Snap. It's a game that I love, but right now I'm just feeling kind of on it, and I think that's normal and healthy to have cycles where you're hot and cold on the game. Oh yeah, I still like it. It's still fun.
Absolutely.
I just mostly I've just been playing the Clog deck, and I love the Clog deck, but it's not my favorite deck, and it's getting a little samey, even if it is good into the meta. I will say, Nightmare, I think, is in 2 months. That card I'm so excited for. It. More excited than I've been for any card since since Cersei, which is like last May or something like that. So it's been a year.
You have to remind me what Nightmare does.
Nightmare is a 2/2 that changes all the text of the cards in your hand to a different card of the same cost. So use them on Ebony Maw or Red Skull or something like that, and get a different text on those cards. I think he looks so stinking fun. Of course,
a card that dares to ask, "What if Emperor Hulkling were good and practical?"
Yes, very daring. Except I'm going to use him on InfiNOT instead. So yeah, that's my weekend Snap. I'm just, if you're feeling that way too, yeah, look forward. There'll be a OTA and hopefully a significant one in 2 weeks.
I highly recommend keeping other games in rotation for moments like this. I don't know.
It's true.
That's just my feeling.
No, I've been playing a little bit of other stuff, but
how's the cookie thing?
Oh my gosh, it's better than it has any right to be, is how it is. Cookie Run Kingdom.
Describe to me, like, what is the gameplay?
I mean, it's a gotcha game. Like, most of the battle is done automatically. You can manually control it, but you might as well do it automatically because the power of your team is what matters the most.
Wait, is it like Final Fantasy Tactics, or not Tactics? Sorry, like my brain is dying. Like where you assign how they're gonna do it, like the original Dragon Age, you know? So No,
it's not that clever. I mean, you choose like 3 pieces of equipment and 5 cookies to go into battle, and they do their thing. And there are certainly synergies and stuff like that, but mostly it's a gacha game. You're doing random pulls that if you get the same cookie again, you get stuff that lets you upgrade them. I think the thing that has really surprised me about it, besides
swords?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh really? Yes.
Oh, right. There are very, very cool ones, very cool designs. I think the thing that has surprised me the most, because I'm playing this because my 13-year-old and her friends are super into it right now. So like, I like being able to talk to my kid about the things.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah.
But it's very high quality. There's like virtually no ads unless you want there to be, and even then they're like minimal. And the story is all fully voice acted. Like the main character is voiced by the same kid who does, he's probably an adult by now, who does the voice of Finn in Adventure Time. So like quality voice acting. And the story has been surprisingly good for, Cookies in Peril. It's been very fun. Anyway, I have enjoyed that game a lot. And getting a kick. Here's an example of the kind of nerdy child mine is. She gets on FaceTime with her friends, and then they get on Scribble.io, which is Pictionary, basically, and they do a custom word list of all the cookies. And they let me play with them, and that was fun.
Oh, okay. How nice to be included. That's
I'm the
good
cool
stuff.
mom. I don't know if that's obvious or not, but I'm
not surprised at all.
My 13-year-old likes me, for now.
I'm so glad to hear that. Keep it up.
Thanks. It's very important to me. Okay, let's talk about Prodigy, our new card. A 3/4 on reveal. If this is in the back row, copy the text of the card in front of it. Did you get it? What are your thoughts? Ree, okay.
We're all collection complete right now?
Yeah.
For the moment.
It just feels like you should keep up with it, right?
Yeah.
I just want to remember it. It's like when I paid off my student loans, it's like, hey, remember how I paid off my student loans? Yeah, I remember it. Now it's like, I'm collection complete now. Yeah, I am. So, okay. Yes, I got it. And I've been like, I know you've been falling out, and I'd been kind of in and out period, and now I've been like coming back in. So like, I wasn't like super stoked for Prodigy specifically, but I'm excited to get in there and do stuff, play some Prodigy. So my first thoughts, obviously, when you look at Prodigy, I was like, okay, Spectrum ongoing, because usually you like ongoing gets more powerful the more you copy stuff, and then he's a 3-cost card, so Surfer. But like, first, my problem with putting him in like Spectrum ongoing, which I did try list for one game, and then immediately got Enchantress, my big power lane, and like I was like, no, we don't. It's just not the meta for it, because there's a lot of tech against ongoing right now. But the problem, the thing I like about Spectrum ongoing is it lets me play a lot of counters, right? It lets me play Cosmo. It lets me play things that like usually you don't put a lot of in your deck because they're lower power, but it's ongoing, so you're gonna like Spectrum them. And Prodigy, in this case, you don't need to copy a counter, so it goes in like a power building Spectrum list, and it's just like, if you're not doing like Living Tribunal or shenanigans with Iron man and stuff, it's like, it just feels like there's better ways to just build power, like, you know, with other cards. So like, that's where I was at with the Spectrum thought. And then here's my problem with Prodigy as Surfer, and this is already a Surfer problem, is that like almost all the cards in Surfer are better cards when you play them late. So like, you want to hold them. So like, the thing with a 3 cost is I want a 3 cost that I can play on 3. I don't want something I'm holding. And Prodigy is normally going to be, right, one of those cards. It's like, it's in the back row, play it on a specific card. So it's like, you're going to hold it. And it's like, in Surfer, you're already holding Surfer. You want to hold Sage if you can. You know what I mean? It's just a whole list of cards that are going to be more powerful later. Or if you compare the Brood with a Forge, or put it after a Galacta on turn 5, you know? And I was like, no, I'm not getting into this with Prodigy. I've done it time and again of like, hold the little cards that I'm playing so I can have something to play early. So when I was looking at Prodigy to deck build, I immediately went, where can I play Prodigy on 3? And I'm like, so then I'm going to be copying little cards, and it's probably copying a 1-cost card. So I started scrolling down when my eyes fell upon Batrock the Leaper, and I was immediately like, yes, that is the card I want to copy. I want to copy that on turn 3 if possible, or turn later. And then I'm like, with Hydra Stomper, because it's like, move kind of as a chessboard is not my style, but move where it's just like, we just moving, you know, chaotically everywhere. It doesn't matter where we end up, because like an Hydra Stomper really enables this like Silk gameplay, you know, that's super fun. I just got the fancy Rian Gonzalez and Noodles, you know, inappropriately inappropriately named Noodles Silk, and I wanted to play her more. So, and you know what I've been copying with Prodigy a lot more, and you guys both know because I shared, I was sharing this around because I caught a clip. I've been copying Werewolf a lot, and I made a fun clip because I also, this deck has Agamotto, and Lauren was like, why Agamotto? And I'm like, I will tell you. I will tell you, it's amazing. Oh, I've been having so much fun with this deck. Okay, so the idea is we have movers that don't need other cards to move them, that don't need other move cards to move them. So there's no like Vulture here, or Dagger, or Human Torch. We have Batrock the Leaper. We have Werewolf. We have Sam Wilson, Captain America, because once again, it's just really valuable to have that shield. You can move around. Oh, when you get a Sam on turn 2, you get Batrock on turn 1 and Sam on turn 2, and you're just like, we're just that. Batrock's just gonna be following that shield around everywhere, right? And then, so obviously, because we're moving everywhere around, we have Craven. I already said Silk was in this deck. I mean, Hydra Stomper is just obvious, and Hydra Stomper is one of the obvious copies for Prodigy in this, because Hydra Stomper is just going to be huge. Because, like, Werewolf, and then, okay, the rest of this deck does multiple things, but they're all Werewolf triggers, right? Because you can get, you can get Werewolf to jump around. When you copy Prodigy with Werewolf, and I learned all kinds of new things about the game playing this deck. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter if there's not room for everybody at a location at the start, as long as all your Silks, you know, sometimes you got multiple Silks, like move out in time, then they'll follow in, because it's like, it like rechecks, I don't know, very specific.
Depends on the order in which they were played onto the board.
Okay, I was thinking that. I was like, is it going? Yes, and that's the way it works, because when you copied Prodigy, then you'll check later. It's beautiful. So, Cannonball is here. Cannonball. Now, this is a slot I debated, because I do, after I play a Werewolf on turn 3, sometimes you just like, I wish I had a Stegron for this Werewolf. And I have a Cannonball, and I can't play that this turn. But Cannonball is also your Shang, you know? Like, that tech is so valuable. That definitely wins you the game sometimes when you're not just, like, moving a card to somewhere, but you're just trying. Like, so many people are filling, especially with all the Thanos around now. so many people fill up their boards, or mostly fill up their boards, which just, cannonball stacks up. And then sneaky, because one of the worries you got to worry about is there's a lot of Killmonger going around. So you gotta worry about Batroc. Right. And, and some other stuff that can, Enchantress for your Hydra Stomper, all that. But if people haven't seen this crazy deck where you're trying to make a whole entourage, it's amazing when you have just a whole pack of people just and you're pinged. Kate Bishop is here. She used to be a goblin because I was thinking don't fill the board space. And it does get tricky sometimes you want to finagle where things are going to move towards the end and you don't mind just kind of decking it out. And the arrows are such good werewolf triggers to just throw in and around, especially when you've copied it. The other use for the arrows is I haven't even talked about all the uses of Agamotto in this. One, Winds of Watum, another Batroc trigger. Right? Just another way to keep moving. We want things to move as much as possible. Another great use of that is with clogging people. So many people are moving their boards. I'll usually end up playing my Winds of Watum, depending on when I get it, after Werewolf to trigger Werewolf. But usually then I'm they're going to put a third card there. And now I can knock one of their dinky, middle cards or left cards that they played early and fill in that slot. And it's definitely won me the game a few times where I've locked them out of a location with Winds of Watum with their own little card, -4 on it. And Batroc follows it around. The images are so good because a lot of time, Red Guardian is super popular. It's the best tech card. And a lot of time people will Red Guardian your Sam early, they're Red Guardian your Shield, they're Red Guardian your Craven, and it's really sad. A Red Guardian Craven is just worthless. You know what I mean? But now it's just you just set up, you're okay, if I have images or if I get images, you set up that lane so that later it's either everything's going to become a giant werewolf. I've done that a number of times. That's a lot of fun. Or everything's going to become a silk, or everything's going to become a Hydra Stomper or a cannonball. That's a lot of fun when everything's a cannonball. Okay. So so many people are playing Clog against Thanos. Oh man, Agamotto is the theme of this deck. I've renamed this deck multiple times, but it's all wizard jokes. It's all wizard based because it's just this deck is just me memeing wizardry at myself. Oh, you gave me a rock? Thank you. Don't you know I know transmutation? I would turn that rock. Yeah, it's just this is me playing this deck all day long. But it's so good. It's that useless thing will just be a much better thing later. And then a lot of times you have prio if you've got Batroc out there, all that stuff swinging around. You played Hydra Stomper on curve. So Alioth, because Alioth just shuts a lot of games down. And the best place for Alioth is when they don't expect it. And people do not know what the fuck I'm doing with this deck. They're not expecting Alioth. And once I was really mad because it's I should have known that's where I would have played my Surfer. Why didn't I put Alioth in the wrong lane and it lost me the game because I didn't hit their Surfer and it. In retrospect, it was obvious, but it was late night. Rieseus was never going to catch that. Okay, so the only card I think I haven't mentioned is Nico is in here. Because she gets you extra cards. Who doesn't love an extra Batroc or Silk? It's so fun because it's I had lost the joy of Silk. But now it's you don't care what Silk is. You're hoping she's hitting a Craven. But it's just you're just bouncing around because it's just always taking up Hydra Stomper, who maybe you're also going to copy with Prodigy. The joy of Silk. Okay.
I know you've been looking for that for a while.
Yeah. And Nico also is just the same toolbox she's always been. She can move a card for you. Once again, I didn't put any cards that move other cards specifically in this deck. So there's a lot of tricky little ways to make sure I'm doing that if I don't hit the right things. The grapple arrow is another example of that, you know. I've had so much fun with this deck. It has been a great joy to me. It is a crazy deck, yes. And it definitely has a learning curve. I'm still learning all kinds of new things I can do with the combinations of these. Oh, I need to mention, like, bolts of ball. That, like, another just great use for this in an Agamotto deck is just, like, if you didn't draw your great play. With this, right, you want to orchestrate some werewolf shenanigans and everything, and bolts of Balthak, which is the one that gives you +4 energy next turn. It's great just delay. Like, I just didn't get the cards I need to play out. You know what I mean? Like, just let me see if next turn is the right. Because in this one, it's like, I'd rather save this card to be a werewolf trigger, but I need it that turn. So, being a wizard, pretty good, to be honest. Okay, well, I've like talked, I think, more in the single setting about my deck than I have all week.
I knew you were very excited about this deck. I need to play it. Maybe it'll get me out of my.
It's crazy.
It looks so fun. The one clip you shared looked like a blast. And maybe that clip had this answer, but I can't remember. If you play like images of Icon, or really any of the skills, they trigger werewolf, right?
They do, and it's something to watch out for in that you can load up a lane too big if you've images of icons there and your werewolf.
Like if it's the fourth card, it banishes itself, and then there's still room for werewolf.
So hopefully you have a 2-cost in your hand or 1-cost, like an arrow or something you can play after to pull.
Yeah, that's great.
So you're not. Or you're turning everything into a silk, and the images will trigger silk.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fine.
Your werewolf just handles that lane, and, you know,
they scatter.
Silk's just...
Yeah. Or if you made an entire pack of werewolves, maybe only some of them can move to the next location.
It is so fun when you, like, move your shield and play some cards and, like, a million cards.
It's been a while since I've done a huge werewolf play, but like in a bounce deck or something like that, it is so fun to get werewolf procking like 6 times in one turn. Small exaggeration.
Oh, I forgot to even mention, I ran against like Scream, and I was like, oh, Scream, my old nemesis. I've always hated playing against Scream, and it's like, here I am with a deck that moves. And then I remembered something Ben had said a while back, which is like, what are you worried about Scream? She's only going to hit you once a turn. You know how many
They're
times
at a disadvantage against move decks because you're redundant.
Right? And, like, sometimes that helps you if they move their cards, you know, and you've already been hit. So, like, I just chomped up that little Scream deck. Like, nom. Like, they don't have a Killmonger in there for my Batrock.
More procs for my Batrock.
On my Hydra Stomper and my Werewolf with my Lyeth, it was, I conquered... what I thought was the fear of move decks, and I was wrong all along.
Isn't that funny?
We could have been friends.
I'm so glad.
That's my experience with move. That's my experience with move. Also, is that it's just like it's a great matchup into Scream. Like it doesn't care. It's getting so much more payoff than Scream is when you move something, which is funny because you look at Scream and you're like, this is a move counter card.
I mean, like it would be if you just like threw Scream into random non-Scream decks. Yeah, you'd be teching against move, I guess, but like that's not a thing, at least it hasn't been.
Before we move on, because I've talked this stuff, but one is I want to say why you go, because I know I'm normally not into move decks, and part of that is all the thinkiness of preparing ahead and stuff. I'm too lazy, and what I like about this, though, it's so chaotic, right? It's a move deck that you're playing turn by turn with like the best of your hand, the way I like to play board games and everything. It's just like, and you do like every Snap game, you're thinking ahead, but it's like, I I like once, oh man, I'll share this clip in our Snap Discord or whatever. But there's this moment where I was thinking about what do I do? And I realized what I could do was make a bunch of silks. And I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do because it's fun immediately. No extra thought beyond that. And so it's just like, that's the joy. And I didn't know that Hydra Stomper would do this for me. Hydra Stomper and Batrock. And like, Mist Werewolf. Craven's all right. I thought I didn't like Craven, but yeah.
I'm so excited for us to talk about our OTAs later.
Oh.
But anywho, my thoughts about Prodigy are I acquired Prodigy. I saw a couple Prodigies out in the wild. I didn't build a Prodigy deck. I ran into a couple Prodigies. Neither one copied an ability. They both just showed up. They were Cyclops. I hope that doesn't happen very often, but 2 out of 2. So I can only extrapolate that Prodigy is never copying anything except when Ree uses him. But my main thought about Prodigy is that the base art Prodigy involves Prodigy writing on the pane of like he's writing on a chalkboard, and it's the surface of the card. That's the chalkboard that he's writing on. And then the next day, they sold us a really exciting variant of Prodigy, where the gimmick of the variant is that he's facing what you can infer is actually a chalkboard, and that's the front of the card, and he's writing math equations. It's very exciting. I'm glad they advertised it, main page of the game, so that we can really diversify our Prodigy. You don't want your Prodigy looking just like everyone else's Prodigy. So it's really good that they gave us 2 that are functionally identical.
Imagine taking this to an extreme where it's like they just released the same Eduardo Mello art, but like with 3 or 4 different colorists. Like,
basically.
Which one do you?
Well, I mean, like there are so many of that one, like Todd McFarlane, Spider-Man pose. Like,
the Venom
the one where he's
Miles
down low,
and
like
Darkhawk.
Like it's not so different, but like I got to say, both of these Prodigy ones where he's facing the chalkboard that is the front of the card, they both make more sense than the season pass Daken from the Dark Avengers that I suspect may have been the product of generative AI that broke out of a cell that is also in front of him. Try to make sense of it if you can, because I can't. But yeah. So that's my thought about Prodigy and the variants that I saw advertised at me.
I did notice he's a lefty, which, lefty rep always makes me happy. Ree, you're talking about your deck like you used to talk about Moon Knight, and that's delightful.
Oh yeah, I haven't had fun. I've been trying to play Khonshu decks. I haven't even talked about it. They're just kind of like, they don't bring me the joy.
It's not chaotic enough. Yeah. I got Prodigy still in a snap pack. Still haven't hit anything better than a Dan Hip variant as a bonus, and only the one. Everything else has been boosters or tiny piles of credits, which is, it's fine. I'm still saving 1,000 by getting it through a snap pack. This card is really fun. I have no idea if it's good. It seems like the kind of card that's going to take a while to measure for sure. Because it only needs 1 or 2 really good synergies to take it over the line and make it meta relevant. I did find it really easy to hit a 2, easier than I thought it was going to be, to line up and hit a 2 correctly. I hit a lot of surges. I hit a few screams, cravens. I tried a bunch of different stuff. I just some of it was stuff I whipped together, and some of it was I went to Untapped and looked for something that had high win rate but low play rate.
May I ask a quick question? Okay,
yeah,
so
please.
You say that this works. He works well with 2s. So you play like a 1 and a 2, and then Prodigy, or wait. I'm just trying to say
it doesn't work, right?
No. Yeah.
So that's the thing where I've been like, oh, I was surprised. I think you have to play him on 4 mostly.
Okay.
When I'm playing with him with Surge, if Surge either hits Prodigy or a 1, then I can do Prodigy on 3 and have 2 Surges going at the same time.
Okay.
Which is decent. I don't know if it's good enough, but it's decent.
My other related question was like, if Prodigy is a card that like really rewards like sticking on curve and stuff, like is Prodigy a Wiccan friend, a speed friend? Like is that a thing? Are these veins of synergy, or is that nothing? I don't know. These were just the thoughts that popped into my head.
Interesting.
I'm not sure they're worth chasing down. They were just raised.
That's an interesting thought, because a lot of the Wiccan friends are not like the on-curve cards. They're not necessarily cards you want to hit again, right? I mean, speed is okay to hit again.
Yeah, I suppose.
But it's a speed +1. That's all Prodigy is, right?
Yeah.
One very cool thing that I saw, and please note, I'm saying cool or fun, but not good. I think it's too many moving pieces to be good. I saw somebody hit a Strange Supreme with Prodigy, and they were playing Squirrel Girl and Shauna, so there was lots of fine eating available to a double Strange Supreme. And then on the very last turn of the game, they separated Strange Supreme from Prodigy using regular old Doctor Strange. I thought that was very cool.
I like it.
Still would have lost to me if I had Shang or Shadow King. Of course, I don't usually run those cards, but if I did, yeah, I've had fun with this card more than I expected. Maybe enough for me to do some cooking with it. Maybe I need to play Reese deck to like really get the chaotic fun energy going.
I've been Shadow Kinged in my deck, and I haven't lost to it yet.
That's good.
Like, I think it's just like, I was trying to think why, and I think it's just like because I can move that power to another lane. It's just and I haven't played him myself either, right? He seems really weak, honestly. Is that what you're thinking, Ben?
He just can't be everywhere at once, and like it sounds like your deck is making big stats on lots of lanes. Like maybe they'll get your Craven or whatever, but like I don't think they're going to get your Werewolf and whatever else.
And Hydra Stomper's ongoing.
Yeah, that one's unshadow kingable.
We'll say something I'm interested in doing with Prodigy, but haven't figured out what something flashy would be yet, is playing him in the front row and then hitting him with Grandmaster.
Oh, that is cute. For sure.
It is cute. Yeah.
But I got to figure out what is he hitting that makes that worth it. And there are good things, but I'm just not sure what. If you go double Iron Man in one lane, like you're winning that lane, but what's happening in the other two lanes? So anyway, those are my thoughts. Prodigy. Next up are side quests. And first, an impromptu side quest, Snack Show and Tell. Let's see what you got.
So, I mentioned earlier some cheese puffs from Aldi's. These are the curiously named Toy Story branded. They're curiously named and Toy Story branded. That's not part of their name, but they are Lesser Evil Spaceballs, real organic cheddar, and they are not Spaceballs branded. These are not. There's nothing to do with the Mel Brooks film Spaceballs. Completely unrelated. You'll see there's Buzz Lightyear, popular character voiced by Tim Allen, as I recall, on the bag. They're pretty yummy. I guess there's some avocado oil involved in their production. But
what is the Toy Story connection?
No fucking clue. But I believe these are the vegan snack option that I'm presenting. These are original Benton's cookies. They're like Oreos, but they're not Oreos.
A knockoff called Originals.
But here's the thing.
Such a baller move.
Also, they claim to have vanilla filling. Vanilla filling? They don't. I've tasted it.
It's just
a hint of vanilla. But they do taste different than Oreos, and not in a bad way. All right.
That's a good note, because off-brand Oreos are usually not a thing for me. Not a fan.
Yeah. Again, for those who missed it, we got Buzz.
Lesser Evil is such a good name for a brand. Okay, I have on-brand Oreos to show off. Dual flavors, peach and grape, blueberry and raspberry. They're very colorful. the cream is not very thick. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Asian treats, but they tend to be pretty subtle in the sweets category, which is something that I appreciate and like. As much of a sweet tooth as I am, fun to shake it up every now and then. Okay.
I brought a show and tell too, but it's not snacks. Let's save it for outro.
We could just be show and tell, unless it's Thunderbolts.
We'll save it for guitars.
Okay.
And improve it.
Okay.
So warm us up for Thunderbolts. It's not going to be that far from now anyway. Okay, the weekly secret homework. I assigned it. It was to design an OTA with the limitations of you get to change 3 cards and only one of them can be a text change, or at least like a significant rework. As the assigner, I go first. Ha ha ha. Maybe you will find it irresponsible that I am not addressing the meta, but I trust Michael Majors and the rest of their team to handle that. So I'm not going to touch Thanos or anything like that. I just want to make some more cards. Well, I'm going to make 2 cards. Okay. Only 1 card is more fun than the other 2. I am dunking on some cards. Super Giant. 2/3. Very different, but I want this card to be more playable. And I think that if a big cost change would open up some more clever, fun things to do with her. Also, making her also, she needs to be a lot more playable on 5, I think. And I know you're like, oh, but end of the game, turn 6, that's the same thing, isn't it? Not always. Sometimes it's different. 4 is really like probably her best spot, because then like exactly who's going to have prio going into turn 6, that sort of thing. But I don't know. Like I have in the past played, say, Shang beneath a Supergiant, and then he doesn't reveal until after Sunspot hits the +10 power. That's a very niche scenario, but I live for those. My next change, I wanted to hit the bullseye deck. I went with Morbius. 2/3 +1.
Oh, not him.
Here's the thing. 2/3 +1 doesn't become weaker than regular Morbius until 4 discards. And not a lot of good. I just think, doesn't Bullseye proc Morbius more than any other discard deck?
Why should Morbius be punished for Bullseye's sins?
Exactly what I was thinking. Like, Bullseye is the problem. And why therefore?
I know. I had the thought, but also I just think Morbius is an extremely strong card. This Morbius. This makes him more resistant to
linear. When you're playing against discard, you know what you're up against. It's very readable.
I'm going to be proposing some wild things, so I don't want to come in too hot on this one. I'll just say that I'm sad for my friend Dr. Michael Morbius, one of our best Greek Marvel Snap cards. As we learned many months ago.
Right up there with Electronautius. Look, they have a Morbius on the board. They have 2 Bullseyes. They already have a handful of Swarms. On the last turn, they play MODOK and 2 Bullseyes. This deck hits Morbius more than anything else does. I just think, I don't know. You could hurt Bullseye for sure, but I think this would do more to hurt the Bullseye deck than hitting Bullseye would. Finally, this would be a big one, but I think it's something wild that they should try just to see what happens. Jane Foster, 5/10. On reveal, draw all 0-cost cards from your deck. You may be thinking, hey, that's the same card. No, not cards that cost 0. 0-cost cards. She no longer synergizes with Mr. Negative. She synergizes with Pixie in a different way. Pulls the zeros out, so, still card draw, but not pulling the big card that you turned into a 0. And her synergy with stuff like Lockjaw and Thor is untouched.
Yeah, completely intact for all the innocent things that nobody uses her for anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that. I don't like this trend in Marvel Snap cards of strong women being beholden to evil male cards. And I don't really see her that much. Honestly, because I don't see a lot of Thor Beta Ray Bill. I don't see a lot of Hammer.
She's pretty much only a negative right now.
Yeah, right. And why? She's better than that. She's a Thor.
It's true.
So as much as I love negative, I know some people out there hate it. I love
I
negative.
do hate it. I would be happy to see it nerfed. Nerf negative. Yay.
But ever since it got Ravonna and maybe Gore, like it is a very reliable deck now. It doesn't need to hit its combo to beat you.
Yeah, I guess it's not as fine as it used to be. I still think of it as being, oh, it's just negative, it's fine. But like, yeah, it has gotten a little too reliable, hasn't it?
It can be really tough to beat if you don't have Mobius.
Yeah.
And not very many decks can afford Mobius. Yeah, right. Not very many decks can afford it. I have been stomping on them lately with Super Scroll, but that's just, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Rieseus assigning the homework. So Ben, what's your OTA?
All right, my OTA. Am I allowed to talk about things I almost put in it?
And that's stretching the extra credit, but
all right. Well, these are the spicy things. Okay, there's some spicy things. I thought about making Brood a 3/1 that did a Squirrel Girl Dr. Doom spread. It would be too good, and it would kind of like eat Dr. Doom's whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
It would be way too easy to hand buff it and stuff. But I just thought, like, wouldn't that be fun to temporarily change the whole character of Surfer decks to like that would fundamentally like make them different. But I decided, that it would be ugly and not make the game.
You think it would be a buff for Surfer?
Yeah, I think so.
Like their Brood lane goes so tall, so making it go wide instead is.
It does, yeah. I mean, like, it's there are nice things about going super tall and nice things about going super wide. Another thing that I think would have made the game less interesting and also would have been Surfer related, I thought about taking Scarlet Spider to 3/4, but I think that would have made the game, the game and the card more boring.
That would be a very good card.
Yeah. And I also thought about taking Spider-Man back to 3/5 and back to being able to move unrevealed cards. That was, or I thought about moving Miles to 4/7 and giving him that ability. So those are the honorable mentions, but here are the 3 real boring changes that I picked. Angela to 2/0, ability gives +2, please. Just this is how it, come on. We all know she's going back there. I know it's really fun to like half the time she's a 2/3 that does +1 and half the time she's a 2/0 that does +2. Oh, that's really cool. How about we just keep it the good way? Another thought I had was Silk to 2/6. I do mention it a lot, but like, Ben, how are we going to justify making moves so good with a 2/6 Silk? Sorry, folks. Batrock remains 1/2. Ability gives +1. Redistributing the juice there. I know, like I hit my favorite thing, my move. I know I weakened it overall, but I just think that's the right thing, and I think I don't know. Move is for the true fans, not all these Johnny come latelys. Get out of here, Batrock. You're ruining the neighborhood.
I was so on the fence about whether or not you'd go for the obvious Silk 2/6.
I know. I was like,
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I'm just saying, like, Batrock is like driving down property values as a move fan. All these people are like littering and stuff. They don't know how to like keep things nice.
I don't mind that either because Batrock's 1 cost is a vulnerability, and Silk's is much safer at a 2 cost.
And I just like of all the things that like, I don't know, like Hydra Stomper is getting plenty big. Why do we need Batrock to get ginormous? It's like it's too much all at once. Fun. I don't know. I just like I don't want him in my like he's like a bad kid on the playground. You know what I mean? He's just get out of my move world, Batrock. I don't know. I'm tolerant of other move cards that I never play, like Madam Web. I'm not coming for you. But Batrock, you're just trouble. I don't think you're good for anyone.
You know, it was when Rhea was talking about her deck, I was like, you know how fun Batrock would be if he could just move every time. Not once a turn, but every time. It would be a broken card, but it would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just your whole arm.
Like, I couldn't do that. Like, if I did that with this +1 version, it would still be broken because
it would still be too good. Absolutely.
So like I can't give him that as compensation for taking him down to +1. So this is just a smaller Batrock. And guess what? He would still get pretty darn big. It's fine. It's fine. A 1/5 is still like pretty cool.
Okay. Ree?
Oh, okay. So mine is brought to you by, I've not gotten InfiNOT yet because of limited playtime, and also you've seen what I've been brewing. I've been brewing that on ladder. So like, we climbing slower than we might have otherwise. It's still climbing, still, win more than we losing, but sometimes we lose an 8 cuber that we were sure we were going to get. But okay. So, I played a bot the other day, and I don't know why this made me hopeful, but this bot played Mantis, and I'm like, ooh, are they pulling Mantis stats for some reason? Is something happening with Mantis? And I know we already did Mantis reworks very early on in podcast history, but I feel like I am of a sufficiently different cellular makeup to be a different, better Ree, who's come up with a better Mantis rework. That is
what
possibly
was your previous Mantis rework? Could you remind us?
It was like stealing a card, I think. I think it stole like the lowest cost card.
Oh, but this is ancient history. We don't even worry about it.
Didn't matter. So this is my hopeful that maybe I'll finally get to play my Rollerblades Mantis or one of my other Mantis variants. And my failure, she stands still as a testament of failure of a card that I could not build a deck for that I did not want to cut her first from. So like we've tried multiple times. Okay. So new Mantis is still a 1 cost, a 1/2 with the ability ongoing. Set the power of the highest cost cards, parentheses S, at this location to 0.
That's fun.
That seems, yeah.
There are some cards that would play nice with that, yeah.
Right? What? So you can like take something down, but there's a lot of ways to get, she dies to Killmonger. She's an ongoing card.
Oh,
if you put
I
early,
see.
They could just not set a card there. You know what I mean? And it's your own cards too, if your card is the highest cost card.
Yeah. I'm gonna play Gore there.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Right. So maybe you are playing her in your own card with like Red Skull or something. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Oh, but there's a.
I was thinking of an old design I was making.
There's some interesting tension though, because like if she's currently suppressing your opponent's 5 cost, you're like, do I want to play a 6?
Yeah. See, so like I don't know. I just want anything that's different from Mantis. Sorry, I had been thinking about having it set their text of the highest cost cards to nothing, and then I changed it, and then which would have made her go with Red Skull and kind of stuff. But okay, okay, and then that was mostly it because I just want to play Mantis, and then I also gave Silk a 2/6 because like yes. I've been playing her a lot now, and I would like her to be 6 power.
I was really worried that none of us would put our money where our mouth has been.
And then my last one is controversial. Everyone will hate it. I don't care. But it's, I'm also nerfing the Thanos deck. And all of the Infinity Stones say cannot be destroyed on them.
Ooh. They can still be eaten by Strange. I think that's fine.
They can still be eaten by Strange. Yeah. I don't like that. This is more for a lore reason. I don't like that it's like, it's an Infinity Stone. It's like super powerful. If you combine it, it's like you'll be the god of all universes ever. And then it's like, but you know what? It does like just die to like a little knife thrown by my buddy Killmonger. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, it's an Infinity Stone, you know?
I actually love that. Like, force them to clog themselves with no answer besides something like Strange Supreme.
Yeah, and then you can just nerf their power down if they, if it's still too good.
I like that as a Thanos drawback.
Yeah.
Okay. So, our new homework is, and this is inspired by I ran into a scenario recently that I'm not going to say in case I need to save it for secret homework because I can't think of something else. And it got me thinking I don't know if you're familiar with the poem by Philip Larkin called This Be the Verse. It's one that goes, they fuck you up, your mom and dad, they don't mean to, but they do. They fill you with the faults they had and add some extra just for you. Okay, I'm sorry. That was something I had. I thought I wasn't sure if we all heard that, and was I really caught wherever I heard that? It stuck with me. Anyway, so it's just kind of the idea. It's like, you always get fucked up by what raises you. And I was thinking about that with video games because we usually talk about like the nostalgic things that we love or the ways. Like, it got us through a hard time maybe or something, all this stuff. But sometimes the games that we really liked when we were kids, like, fucked us up in some kind of way. I definitely have seen the ways it has given people some weird fetishes on the internet. So, like, so, I mean, not that I'm saying you need to share something here, but I'm just saying there's some way that some video game you like has, in some way made you either a little bit worse or a little bit different. And that's the story I want to hear.
That's so much subtler than what video game fucked you up. Okay. Made you a little bit worse or a little bit different.
It's broad, right? Or taught you the wrong information, or you know what I mean? Give me a story. I'll allow some stretch to get there.
Do you know how many waterfalls I've looked behind in real life and never seen a cave?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. If you liked what you heard, like, comment, subscribe, review. If you want to comment, you can do that on YouTube or Spotify. We're on YouTube and all the podcasting places, wherever you want to listen to us or watch us. If you want to see our show and tell instead of just ASMR that shit, YouTube. Yeah, we're part of the Snap Judgments Network. We are on their Discord in this little corner called the Speakeasy. And if you want to come hang out there, it's a little tricky, but I exaggerate how hard it is. If you want to get there, there are instructions to do so in the show notes or video description. And we're glad to be part of the Snap Judgments Network, where you can listen to other great shows like Snap Decisions from Joe, who does episodes every Monday with guests, and Tuesdays his normal show, and ad hoc ones for OTA and announcements and stuff like that. It's got a casual slant. He's got a lot of comic knowledge. History as a radio DJ. It's a fun show. We've all been on it multiple times. Anyway, if you want to find out what video game fucked us up, tune in next week. Same Snap time, same Snap channel.
Now we were going to talk about Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
we are.
But you have to take credit for it. This is Rie's Thunderbolts segment.
We are talking about Thunderbolts. This is the time.
This was the plan. The plan was to do it after. Okay.
Do you want to do your show and tell before or after Thunderbolts?
I don't know. I'm like it's so hot now. No energy for my Thunderbolts.
What?
Okay. Oh yeah.
This
sorry.
is going to be everyone's favorite part.
Do we have to do a special emergency recording after you cool down?
Yeah, we totally can do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot we were recording for a second. Totally lost my train of thought because we ended.
Oh, I didn't mean to throw you off. Yeah, it was always going to be the guitar section. The after show was going to be where we put all the spoilies.
Oh my gosh, Snap on this after dark.
It's going to get... This is where the secret homework is to share your fetish. Okay. Do you want to come back and talk about Thunderbolts later?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just I'm trying to pull it. It's like I don't have any monologuing energy.
Okay. After a quick cool down break, we're back to talk about Thunderbolts asterisk with spoilers. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Spoiler warning, you have been warned.
Yeah, big foghorn.
For people who have seen. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, we need like Ben to come up with like a ditty. The people have demanded. We've done South Trumpet. We should have spoilers tag for, because we're always talking about Marvel movies. Like
that's true. We do spoil some things sometimes. It is possible that we need a stinger to, indicate that like forbidden knowledge is about to come at you.
You've entered the spoiler zone.
Like Margaret Thatcher.
Exactly. Okay. For me, there were two like big things I really wanted to talk about with Thunderbolts that I loved. And one is like, okay, so like this movie had tropes, it relied on some frames that we've seen before, but it did some of them with like so much more compassion or with a twist that was interesting. Like this movie, I feel like for this style of movie, this kind of more action or, genre kind of movie, it really treated mental illness with like way more kindness than is usually happen. Because it employs the trope of like, okay, like, we're sitting at close to the end and it's like, we sure hope that, this girl, on the basis of her previous kindness to this mentally ill boy, can fool him for long enough to trust her so that we can, like, store him in a crystal or blow him up or whatever we need to do with him, because he's a monster now. We have some sympathy for him on the basis of, like, previous scenes that showed how he'd been mistreated, but unfortunately, now he's a danger, so he's probably just, he's a monster and we gotta get rid of him. And I feel like that's that kind of pseudo, like, not real sympathy for like, mental illness. It's like, yeah, it's really unfortunate that they're this way, and now, we must dispose of them as a danger to us all. And this movie had that trope with Yelena and Bob, as like, she meets him, of course, at the end, it's their friendship, but it's genuine, and it's, for the woman, it's gross on that side too, where it's like, it's kind of gross that she's like, usually kind of having to semi-feign kind of something, which is already like, feels bad to like, but like everyone's gonna die if she doesn't like convince this guy to like whatever. In these movies, and this was so, but their connection and friendship was so genuine, and they didn't put the responsibility. Usually these movies are kind of like, that kind of like, well, it's really on the individual, it's on this person and their choices, and even if they had disadvantages or whatever. And this one kept pointing out the irresponsibility of the institutions to give superpowers, right, to someone who is mentally ill. So, and it had a lot of compassion for Bob, and at the end, right, when he's there and he's wrestling with like Darklink and and Darklink, okay, the Void, I know, looks at him and says, he says something along the lines of like, you'll always be alone, just me and you forever and ever. And it's just like, there's so many, that was said in a way, it's like, you're not just identifying with Yelena, you're identifying with Bob, right? Like there's some of us that like felt that in our souls. And when Yelena comes, when she decides to do this, it's like to really help him. Like she really cares about him. There's no like feigning this. There's this recognition that they're all, they've all done bad things, right? She's done so many wrong things. And it's like, it's just, I think she says it in such, I love Florence Pugh, if I'm saying her name right, in such a relatable thing. I've done so many bad things.
It's also worth mentioning that she feels like really bad, like just like script wise, like she really gave him that horrible advice about stuffing it down. And like in that earlier scene, Like you knew that was like going to come back later, and like she had to make that right because that was not the correct advice to give that individual.
I mean, it's not the right advice for herself either, even if that is what she does.
I mean, like obviously, but like I think she like felt like a personal responsibility for maybe how things were unfolding. But I mean, I don't know.
The second thing I really liked about Thunderbolts was the twist on, like, we've had these end moments before that are about, like, people, like, kind of just coming together and embracing and recognizing, like you know, that all they have is each other kind of thing. But what I love about this is normally it's like the family coming together, whether it's like the found family or, you know, real family. And aside from, like, you know, Red Guardian and Yelena in this situation, they're not really there yet at all. What it just is a recognition of people who don't have that, who are alone, who have no found family, and recognizing that, like, making yourself a little bit vulnerable, right? And like reaching out and just opening yourself up, like putting yourself out there and caring about someone else, like that's how you get there, you know? Because like ultimately, like a lot of our media, it's like if there's one thing we've decided is the meaning of life, it's in our connections, right? It's in our connections to other people in various ways. And I loved that twist, that it wasn't like, because, you know, it's kind of it's like, yes, the people that you're close to and you care about are what's important. And this was like, but what if you don't have that? What if you're just alone? It's just you and Void. And how do you find that? And on a lesser than like life or death scale, you know, it's like, it's hard as an adult, like when you move for work or something, to make new friends, you know, that you didn't know from college or high school. So it's just like a struggle a lot of people face. And I feel like this addressed all of these people broken in all these ways, recognizing that they have to take that first step towards caring and being kind to each other to, you know, to make it lighter. You know, and she said, and it's just, I teared up. It was just, I thought it was, like, it was tropes. It was a story we were comfortable with, but like at the same time, it was so different. And Yelena, like, was so strong, right? It's like she wasn't afraid. This wasn't her feigning, you know, through her fear to try and reach Bob so they could like take him down. It was her, like, she's not afraid of death. All these people have been, you know, like, she starts by jumping off the second tallest building in the world. You know, no, like, she walks in because she recognizes, like, all she wants to do is help him. And she realizes that's, you know, it's the same way she helped herself. Yeah, for me, beautiful twists on tropes that I felt were compassionate, which is just something I think we're all longing for right now. Those were my big takeaways from Thunderbolts. I'd love to hear, you know, what you guys thought about it.
I loved it. I felt like, okay, I'm not a trailer girly, so I don't know what the trailers, or more specifically, I'm somebody who avoids trailers for movies I already know I'm going to see. Not that I'm like obsessive about spoilers or anything like that, but I just like, I don't need the trailer to sell me. I already know I'm going to watch it. So I don't know how much they like gave away. Hey, this movie is going to deal with some heavy stuff. This movie primary theme is loneliness. Like, to me, it seems like that maybe was like disguised in like the Marvel blockbuster. This like heavier movie. And of course there was lots of good action and lots of great jokes. I laughed out loud several times, but also I was sobbing by the time, you know, Yelena went up and gave him a hug and told him he wasn't alone. And I looked over and Jess was sobbing too. And I don't know how common that experience is going to be, but certainly for anybody who has felt that lonely, which I think is probably most people, or dealt with mental illness, like, that's all we really want, is to not be alone, to be understood, to be with somebody who will listen, or, you know, any variety of that. And I just thought it was so beautiful. It might be my favorite Marvel movie ever because of the depth that it reached. Whereas like if I did like my ranking of the MCU, it's like it's TV series are all my top ones, and then it go down to movies. The TV series have time to develop characters, and that's something that I care about a lot more than good action.
And it still delivered fine on that. So, like, I felt like it's the kind of corny thing I normally wouldn't be laughing at, but I was totally cracking up when Red Guardian was, like, driving down the road.
Oh my God, it was fucking hilarious in that role.
I was, like, laughing out loud in the theater, and I'm like, it's like, this is so corny, but it's just, like, so well done.
Yeah, the execution was just excellent.
I don't know if my mentioning of this has already made it in or not, but my favorite part was when John Walker announces, I think Bob's dark side got superpowers. And that shit is hilarious. He's just the simplest man ever to be simple. Oh my gosh. Played to perfection by Wyatt Russell. Not like a likable dude by any means. I mean, I don't know. Wyatt Russell's probably a nice guy, but John Walker, kind of a piece of shit.
But a delightful character.
But
like,
yeah,
you can like
just,
a character without liking them as a person.
Yep, very fun character. They're all, you know. I wish Ghost got a little more to do. She felt kind of the least.
I mean, Taskmaster.
Developed. Oh, well, I mean, of people who lived more than 30 seconds, what was that?
So disappointing.
Yeah. Like, in a movie full of good choices, I don't think that was one of them.
Taskmaster? No, okay, because before this, I was literally saying before the movie, I was like, okay, they changed Taskmaster a lot from the comics. Mostly from someone who was a character to someone who had no character as being their whole kind of deal. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm excited for this movie to, you know, maybe like do something with this MCU. Yeah, it's like now we'll get the chance to know this character. And then, I'm like, oh, nope, that's it.
Psych.
No such luck.
Yeah.
How do we? Is the asterisk that they're the new Avengers? Is that what the asterisk is?
And honestly, I feel a little bit bad about being so complicit in this asterisk gimmick. I don't know, folks. I don't know. I liked the movie a lot, but I'm not sure it merited the asterisk, and they tricked me into talking about it a lot, which I don't appreciate.
I found it surprising, and I don't know how it ties into the comics. Maybe the Thunderbolts do become the new Avengers in the comics, but I'm like, this team is not on par with the Avengers at all. Besides Sentry, who is intentionally suppressing his powers. Yeah, they don't seem Avengery to me. I don't know. I'm excited to see these characters more and to see them developed further and their relationships developed further.
Oh yeah. Also, I saw this trailer for the Fantastic Four, and they had a little post credits pop up thing. You know, I don't know why. I just have a hunch that movie might turn out all right. I haven't enjoyed any of the Fantastic Four movies I've seen before, but I'm just like, maybe this one will be all right. The cast is, very good. They're doing the retrofuturism thing. Like, so I just I don't know why. I just sort of have a hunch they might it might be a winner. I don't know. I'm not like a Fantastic Four kid, so I don't know.
Okay, you're right. Yes, like the aesthetic is already selling it. Like on the basis of the whole aesthetic of the movie, it looks good.
We're assuming everything we saw in the trailer is in the first 30 minutes, and their universe gets destroyed or whatever, right?
Yeah, almost definitely.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, maybe. I was gonna say though. Okay, this is a strong promises of aesthetic, and it reminded me of how much we got totally fucked over with that with Wonder Woman 84, where they were promising all these bright, cool.
Wait, you're saying this movie is also going to squander vibes. Pedro Pascal?
No,
oh dear.
Hopefully not, because Marvel doesn't tend to go as terrible as DC when it messes things up. But like, oh, that was so disappointing. It was like the advertising was so like, yes, I'm in. And it's like they didn't deliver on that in the movie, like at all.
I found it to be very forgettable. I know I've seen it at least once, and the details have just dripped out of my ears.
Same, but also that's normal for me.
Not so normal for me.
I don't think it's the first 30 minutes. I think it's the end of the movie. Their universe does get destroyed, and that's how they end up in the MCU. But I think the majority of the Fantastic Four movie is going to be in their universe, is building these 4 characters.
Yeah, I believe that. It makes sense.
Could be.
But yeah, it's an interesting way to get them into the MCU.
I don't remember who posited that theory. I read it on Discord from probably one of our friends, and I thought, that sounds about right to me. Based on what I finally saw in the trailer. I don't know.
Just don't know, like, does Galactus get to be the climax if the universe is destroyed in the first 30 minutes?
I assume they end up fleeing, or in one way or another, they end up as like refugees of a destroyed world, like here in the mainline Marvel universe. And I don't know. I presume they'd be like, warning of this cosmic threat, not being heralds of Galactus, like, the heralds of Galactus, but like being like, oh fuck, y'all want to watch out for Galacti. They're trouble. They'll devour your world, yo. Cautionary tale. Fantastic Four.
What if, like, you can't have a herd of Galacti, though, because they're like beta fish? You gotta, like, keep them in separate, and they'll fight if they're together.
Somewhere the Collector has little tanks full of Galacti pounding against the glass.
Different colors.
Okay, before we wrap it up, I need to make sure to deliver something I meant to say earlier. If your cellular structure is being sufficiently reworked, are you the Ree of Theseus or the ship of Rieseus?
That is probably the best Ree pun you've ever had on the podcast.
I live for that.